What is up, guys? Welcome to career mode. This time we're at Mexico, and I made a bit of an error. So when I recorded this, I didn't realize that I didn't actually record the in-game gameplay. But luckily enough, I have all the replay cameras that actually make mean anything, or that kind of basically summarizes the whole race up in more or less about the same amount of time that the normal race would. So there's no actual onboard gameplay of myself, but we have obviously cinematics. So we're going to jump straight into that. Here we're waiting for the 5 lights so we can get this Mexico Grand Prix underway as we try and increase our hold on the championship as best we can. Everyone gets off to a good start, including Kimi Räikkönen, and it looks like we're going to go 4 wide going down at the start-finish straight. We're going to be just ahead of all 4 cars at this point in time, and look, almost 5 wide because Perez is out of nowhere has got some pace. We get pushed back all the way back to around about 6th place because Bottas leads from Perez ahead of Räikkönen by Sergio Perez. I'll have to have a look at that in a second, but you're going to see a little bit further back we've actually got a little bit of a fight going on between Pierre Gasly and I believe that's Max Verstappen. So Verstappen under pressure from his junior teammate Pierre Gasly, who is returning for the Mexico Grand Prix after winning Super Formula Championship, wink wink, hopefully. So yeah, it looks like Verstappen has got past Pierre Gasly on this occasion. We'll have a look now at Sergio Perez's start, because he was absolutely electric. I think that's the only way to really describe it. He got off the line not too great, but look, it's just like he has an extra gear. The second he puts it up into 8th gear, and the gap just forms. We move to the left-hand side, which kind of leaves the door open for Perez. He actually almost gets pinched by Bottas and Kimi, so he almost got Verstappen in a sense, like what happened in Singapore. But moving on a little bit further forward, we've got Romain Grosjean attacking Fernando Alonso, moving himself up the grid order, and just behind these two we've got another little scrap going on. That's Carlos Sainz going past Pascal Wehrlein, who he got a good start, and now Carlos Sainz is trying to make up some ground on the rest of the field. Looks like they're going to go side by side here. They are going to make it a little bit difficult for Carlos Sainz, but he will do it nonetheless. We've got another overtake happening on Pierre Gasly. So Pierre Gasly is struggling a little bit at this point. You've got Kevin Magnussen in the Haas going clean through on the French driver. And again, not too far later, you've got Esteban Ocon now pouncing on Pierre Gasly. So Pierre Gasly must have an issue in his Toro Rosso to be going that slowly and being overtaken. Although you would expect the Force India to pass, not necessarily the Haas. The Haas is a bit of a weird one. It's going to be interesting to see if his teammate Brendan Hartley, who has stayed with the Toro Rosso outfit, is going to be able to make an overtake. But Carlos Sainz looking at his compatriot down the second DRS zone, and he's going to get him maybe before even the corner. But Alonso ain't going to give his fight up easy. He's going to go side by side with his fellow countryman all the way around this double apex right-hander, and maybe into the S section as well. We're going to see who's going to be the first one to break. It's going to be close, and I reckon it could be Alonso or Sainz. Sainz is actually going to hold on to it pretty well, and they're actually going to go side by side all the way through this S section. This is amazing, all things considered, and it ends with Alonso taking some damage to his McLaren. So Alonso picked up damage that looked too good to be true, and Lance Stroll is going to pounce on that opportunity and pass Fernando Alonso. So that was unlucky on Fernando's part. We've got Kimi Räikkönen now, who's actually trying to overtake Perez, and I believe that's Hamilton who has caught up. At this point we've pitted, we've come into the pits for super softs, and this is happening above us, ahead of us even. This is why we came into the pit, so they could be held up, and Perez and Hamilton both come into the pit lane to make their one and only stop of the race. We've got a little next lap later, I'm pretty sure. Daniel Ricciardo's coming in. He wasn't doing too bad. He was doing alright. I think at this point he was one of the cars leading behind Kimi. So it's going to be interesting to see where Ricciardo comes out in terms of later. Now, then our teammate Kimi Räikkönen, he comes out on lap 11. It's going to be interesting to see where everyone else comes out in terms of Bottas, Hamilton, and obviously ourselves. I know where I come out. There I go. I go across the bottom of the screen, and the undercut has worked absolutely perfect in terms of getting where I want to be. Hamilton is a little bit further behind there. We've got loads of cars coming out the pit lane. We've got the Toro Rosso of Pierre Gasly, of course, this time being overtaken by Romain Grosjean. So both Haas cars are now past both of the Toro Rossos, Actually, in saying that, Magnussen's actually in the background, so I think Magnussen lost out during the pit stop phase, so he will not be happy with that. We've got Max Verstappen, who's being chased by a Haas and a Force India. So Verstappen a little bit further down the order when he started this race, but at this point in time, he's leading the race as he has not made his pit stop yet. So Verstappen going a bit long on this ultra soft strategy, and longer he will not be going. It looks like he's had a brake failure in that RB13, and that will be Max Verstappen out of the Grand Prix, which is obviously, it's not good for him. He really hasn't had much luck this season. Carlos Sainz, on the other hand, not been too bad so far. He's had a steady start with Renault, and it's not like, it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. He's going to pull to the right hand side, and Carlos Sainz is also going to retire his car. So that means the only driver left with no retirement all season is Sergio Perez. So Carlos Sainz did have that, and now it's gone. But Magnussen being very aggressive on Brandon Hartley coming into turn 1. Magnussen throws his hand up in frustration, but he does get past the Kiwi driver, and he's going to chase after Pierre Gasly as best as he can, and I'm sure it won't be too long till he catches him. There's Massa and Grosjean, and Massa just hands the position to Romain Grosjean. Massa completely locks up, and he's definitely got a brake issue. His brakes are running way too hot, especially braking a little bit too late. I mean, it looks like he maybe did it on time, but it's not quite right. We've got Bottas now, who is chasing Sebastian Vettel. So Sebastian Vettel did get past Bottas in the pit stop phase, but this time Bottas has come back at Sebastian Vettel. We're going to have to go all the way around the longer hand side. We actually go into the back of Bottas because Bottas actually locks his front tyre, so that has damaged our front wing. Not heavily, but at the same time we could have really done without it. When I have a look at the replay, we're going to see Bottas just lock his front right, and obviously we ain't got the reaction time to slow down when we're running that close to the Mercedes, so that's a bit frustrating that we couldn't actually, you know, keep all of our front wing. We're not very good at that lately. But about to start the final lap. Sebastian Vettel, it's make or break Sebastian Vettel. He needs to win all of these races if he wants to win the championship, and he's doing his absolute best right now. We're going to go down the left hand side of Valtteri Bottas. We're going to have to be very, very late on the brakes, as Bottas will probably cut us off just like he did on the previous lap. We're going to go over the curb, and then Bottas is going to get a really poor exit. He's going to compromise his exit, and here we go, DRS wide open. Vettel pulls to the left hand side. Bottas weaving a little bit. I'm not sure why, what issue he is carrying to have to weave down the straight like that. But to go side by side through this little mini section, coming in to the double right-hander. Again, just like we saw with Fernando Alonso and Carlos Sainz, this could end in tears if they continue. Bottas is going to squeeze Vettel all the way to the right-hand side. Vettel's going to go the long way around. He actually cuts the corner, in fact. So he'll have to slow down and let Bottas through. He does. Sebastian Vettel is still going to be able to chase after him, but he's compromised his line after letting Bottas through. But it's going to be so close as they come into the stadium section. Vettel, is he going to go for it? Yes, he is. He's down all the way on the inside. They both lock up their tyres, and Bottas is going to have to be super defensive on the inside. He is indeed. Vettel still on the aggressive. Vettel is all over the road trying to get past Bottas. He knows these points are crucial for the championship. They're going to go side by side. They could come across the line side by side, but Bottas is just going to get the race win, and not by much, as Vettel drops to the background because obviously he ran out of fuel on the line. So an absolutely fantastic end to the race, and a very solid job by Bottas to hold Vettel off. But I think that's one of Bottas's second or third win of the season. He kind of needed it, seeing as he hasn't had a great season compared to Hamilton. He's now second in the championship when we look at that in a second. But fair play to him. Like, he did a fantastic job, as you can see on the drivers' standings at this moment. Not a bad job by any of the drivers. Unlucky for Verstappen and Sainz, but fantastic drive from Bottas to be able to actually clinch that win. All started from lap 1, to be honest, but Ferrari now ahead of Mercedes in the drivers. Williams, Haas, Force India and Renault are looking really tasty. That's going to be really close towards the end of the season. But anyway, guys, that's been it for this video. Sorry there's no footage. I'll do better next time. Until next time, bye-bye.